All right, let's be honest. In every company, there's that one spreadsheet. You know the one. HR owns it, but the finance team absolutely dreads opening it. Yeah, it's the one for employee health benefits. So today, we're going to put on our CFO hats and really tackle its single biggest problem. Its total, maddening unpredictability.
I mean, this quote just hits the nail right on the head, doesn't it? For way too long, budgeting for healthcare has felt like a total shot in the dark. But what if? What if you could stop guessing? What if you could actually start fixing the rules yourself? Well, that's the game-changing idea we're going to dive into right now.
So to figure out how to solve today's chaos, we're actually going to take a look back in time. It might sound a little strange, but the unpredictability you're facing in your benefits budget, well, it has this really surprising parallel with what manufacturers were struggling with over a century ago.
Okay, just picture this for a second. You're trying to run a factory back in the early 1900s. The price of steel, it could literally double overnight. Your worker output, all over the place. And your supply chains, an absolute mess. I mean, for anyone in charge of the money, it was a complete nightmare of uncertainty.
The parallels here are just striking, aren't they? On the right, you see today's version of that chaos, those massive premium hikes. We're talking 8 to 15% every single year, those last-minute renewal surprises that give you a heart attack, and these rigid, one-size-fits-all plans. It's really the same old story of unpredictable costs, just dressed up for the 21st century.
So the big question is, how did they fix that mess back then? Well, they didn't just tweak the old system. No, they completely revolutionized it. And that is exactly what's needed to tackle today's benefits challenges.
You know, the assembly line, it wasn't just about making things faster. It was a total financial game changer. By standardizing the entire process, leaders could finally predict their costs with real confidence. And that paved the way for stable, sustainable growth. It literally turned chaos into order.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question for today. What is the assembly line for modern benefits finance? Right? If the old group plan model is like that quaint but totally unpredictable artisan workshop, what's the efficient, scalable, predictable factory of the future?
And here it is. The answer is something called an Individual Coverage Health Reimbursement Arrangement, or ICHRA for short. It's actually pretty simple. Instead of buying one big group plan for everyone, you give your employees a fixed tax-free allowance. Then they take that money and go shop for their own plan on the open market, one that actually fits their life. Now, this is a really fundamental shift in thinking. Your health benefits stop being this volatile, crazy expense that you just react to every year. Instead, they become a predictable, controlled investment in your team. See the difference? You're not just buying insurance anymore. You're strategically funding it. Okay, so how does this actually work in the real world? Let's break down the framework that makes this all so predictable. It's really a pretty straightforward 5-step process. First up, you, the employer, define the allowance, and you can tailor it by employee class, their role, even their location. Step 2, your employees take that allowance and go pick the plan that works for them. Now, step 3 is the big one for finance. Your costs are locked in. Your liability is capped right there at that allowance amount. No surprises. Step 4 is all about compliance, just making sure your allowance meets the ACA's affordability standards. And finally, step 5, the magic moment. Your finance team can now forecast your benefit spend with confidence for years into the future. So that's the framework. But what does it actually feel like? What's the real-world impact when you move from all that volatility to this kind of stability?
I mean, the difference is just night and day. With traditional plans, you've got variable costs and you're always budgeting reactively. With an ICHRA, you get that fixed allowance and you can actually plan ahead. Just look at that employer risk row. It goes from high and totally unpredictable to low and clearly defined. And hey, as a huge bonus, your employees get way more choice. It's a win-win, really.
And here's a really crucial insight. This isn't about being less generous or just trying to cut costs. It's about building a smarter, more stable financial architecture for your entire company. It's a major strategic shift, not just some minor benefits tweak.
All right, here's a bit of a contrarian thought for you. We've all been told that you need richer plans to attract the best talent. But what if that's not the whole story? What if what really matters, both to your employees and to the business, is actually stability?
So why does stability win? Well, for one, when your costs are controlled, you can protect your budget for things like wage growth and other strategic investments. You can actually plan for the future without constantly looking over your shoulder for a surprise renewal hike. And on top of that, today's employees really value the clarity and choice that a model like ICHRA gives them.
Okay, so this new architecture is obviously a powerful tool, but let's get practical.
how do you move from theory to actually putting this into practice? Let's walk through the first steps for any leader thinking about this.
Think of this as your starter roadmap. Step 1, model the numbers. Just rerun your last few renewals, but this time against a fixed ICHRA allowance. See what it looks like. 2, segment your workforce. Analyze how you could apply different contribution strategies to different roles. 3, test for affordability early on. You want to use proactive modeling so you don't get hit with any ACA penalties. And finally, number 4, plan to partner with a third-party administrator, or TPA. They'll automate the reimbursements and compliance and make your life a whole lot easier.
So, at the end of the day, it really all comes down to one simple question you have to ask yourself. Is your current benefit strategy built for predictability, or is it built for chance? Is it a strategy, or is it just a roll of the dice every single year? The power to choose a different way, well, that's entirely in your hands.